So a few months ago, I was going to break. I could feel it coming on. And I know I'm not alone in this. I think right now we're going through a collective breaking point. We're all exhausted. We're all feeling like something needs to change. And so today I want to talk about taking a break before you break. Because I was one of those people who collapsed because of burnout in the past. And this time I was able to listen in, go against everything that says you need to push through and hustle and be productive, and end up taking care of myself when everything around me told me I needed to just keep going. So stay with me and let's get into it. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm upside down, don't worry, I'll flip it. I'll talk to you like a normal person in a minute. It just felt right to introduce the breaking point as something upside down because it just feels upside down that so many of us are breaking. Okay, with that, let's get into it. So, since it's been a while since I've been here, I thought I could reintroduce myself just quickly before we get into it. So, I'm Kathleen, and over a year ago, I burnt out. I was in corporate, and I thought it was just the fact that I was in a corporate job and I was a new mom, but it turned out to be from a lifetime of living based on other people's expectations and not true to me. I'm still very much figuring it out, but throughout this journey, I've still been able to help other people, other women who are feeling burnt out, feeling exhausted, reconnect to their true needs and live a life they actually want to wake up to. Because honestly, that's what a lot of people are experiencing right now. They don't want to wake up in the morning. Either they're too exhausted or they look at their day and they think, what's the point? Why am I pushing for things that I don't really care about or things that I don't actually feel motivated by? And so to get back into what I want to talk about today is that I've been away from a bunch of things for the past few months. It's been YouTube. I structured down my business to an absolute minimum because I have been going through a hard season of life. My dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple years ago, and his health was rapidly declining. And really, at the end of the day, so many of us are going through something really hard. Even if, you look at other people and you say, oh, they have it worse, or oh, things could be worse. That's probably true. But honestly, if you're feeling like every day you're pushing uphill, like every day is a battle or something you need to get through, it's time to take a break. So I want to talk about how you can even start listening to yourself that you actually need a break and the practical ways to take that break. Because I anticipate that if you're here, you already have a sense that you need to take a break, you're exhausted, but you're thinking, okay, cool, but how do I actually do that? Throughout this video, when I talk about taking a break, it can mean in big or small ways. So small ways can look like taking a break during your workday. So instead of pushing through and going meeting to meeting, can you step away? Can you take a walk? Can you just find a way to nourish yourself? Because one of the cool things is the more you actually listen to your body instead of pushing through and saying, oh, I just need to get this to-do list done or I need to go to this next thing. If your body is telling you, hey, I'm feeling tired, I'm getting a headache, I feel like I'm pushing now, the more you listen to that message instead of overriding it, the more resilient your body will actually become. And so for me, as somebody who experienced pretty severe burnout, I could only work maybe an hour a day, even a few months after I had left my job over a year ago. But day by day, as I continued to listen to those signals, to listen to the signals that said, okay, it's time to take a break, the more I was able to actually build that resilience. I was able to work a couple hours and a few hours and then almost a full day. And it fluctuates based on the day and how much energy I have that day. But it was really cool to see, and I've seen it in other people as well, that it almost feels counterintuitive to what we've been taught of, well, if I keep pushing through, I'll get more done. Where actually, if you listen to your body and give it the breaks and rest it needs, it'll give back to you more in the future, and you'll actually end up feeling often more productive. And now the other side of it, the bigger breaks. So if you are feeling like you are going to collapse in your life, in your career, in your relationship, whatever it is, you need to take a bigger step away. And that's what I want to focus on more today, although the principles still apply to whether it's a smaller break versus a bigger one. So the first thing is, how do you actually listen to your body and listen to it when it's saying it needs a break? And the big thing here is to create space in each day, at least 5 minutes a day, where you can start listening into what your body really needs. Because if you've been a people pleaser like me, if you've been an overachiever, you are likely used to listening to the expectations and voices of other people. You're used to that narrative that tells you your worth is tied to how much you can produce and how much you can get done. Maybe it's tied to your title or your salary. And so taking moments in each day to start paying attention to, what do I really need versus what am I telling myself I need to do or should do? That's a key. When you hear the word should, like, oh, I should be doing this. Oh, I shouldn't really take a break, or oh, I shouldn't take a long break, or I should just keep going and push through and do this next meeting or do this next project, or, don't take a step away from work. The shoulds are pressure. They're coming from expectations that aren't necessarily yours. So pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Does it feel like pressure? Is it telling you you should? Does it feel loud? Those are all signs that you're living true to someone else and not yourself. That was a very simplified version of how to listen to yourself and your body. And if you're interested in learning more, over the past few months, I actually built a program called Return to You that does exactly this for the moments you're exhausted and want to start listening into what you really need, so you can start building a life that actually feels good and right to you. And the truth is, the signs that you're burning out, you're exhausted, will differ for everybody. And so it's about tuning in and paying attention to how you're feeling. I mean, for me, it was a struggle to get up every morning. I was feeling more irritable again at others, like my husband, even sometimes my daughter and myself. And I was experiencing more brain fog. Like, things just felt so much harder and I couldn't focus. And so this time around, I knew it was time to step back, take care of myself. And so let's talk about how you can practically take that break, take a step away from what you need to step away from, even when everything around you is telling you that you shouldn't. So the first thing I hear from people, and I felt myself, is that, well, I can't take a break because I have all of these things I have to do. We all have non-negotiables that we can't just pause necessarily, even if we are going through a hard season of life or we're just feeling exhausted. And so for me, that was or is being a mom. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and it's essential that I'm present for her, but I'm also her primary caregiver. And so that's something I can't trade off doing. I couldn't give up taking care of her. Another one is that I have a mortgage. My husband and I own our home, and we need to keep paying our mortgage because we want to stay in our home. And so for me, those were some of the non-negotiables. I'm a mom. I need to keep paying so we can live in our house. So what can I drop? Because I know I need to drop something. I know I need to focus on myself. I need to focus on my family. I need to focus on my dad. How can I do that while keeping those things in check? And so for you, maybe you're a caregiver, maybe you're a parent, maybe you're not, maybe you have rent. whatever it is, identify some of those non-negotiables for you. And actually, before you even get to identifying what your non-negotiables are, part of this and what I was speaking to before is starting to separate your worth and your value from how much you're pushing through. So many of us were recognized and praised and loved and accepted for what we were able to achieve. And know that that's not what you need to do anymore. You're here for yourself. You don't need to push. You just need to be. Because really, the most essential thing is that you're here. You're healthy. You feel good. You're living your life. That is honestly the most important aspect to consider for yourself. It's not about your salary. It's not how much you're getting done. It's not the thought that other people can handle it and why can't you? Because I've definitely had that thought. It's just, what do you specifically need? That's it. Okay. So once you've separated your worth from how much you produce, and you've identified some of those non-negotiables of what you can't actually stop, the next piece is to ask for help. And this can feel really hard as well, because many of us were taught to get things done ourselves and to be independent. And that's how we're successful. And there's guilt and shame around asking for help. But the cool thing is, when you actually end up asking for help, most of the time people are so willing and so accepting to offer support. You just need to ask. And I say just like it's easy, because it doesn't always feel easy, but like for me, it was asking my in-laws to help with my daughter more often than usual, and to ask my husband for help financially more than he would have. And some of that is putting pride aside and saying, I need to take care of myself, and that is truly the most important thing. Because the people who care about you, who truly care about you, want you to feel healthy. They don't want you to break either. And so most of the time, they'll do what they can to help and support you as well. And the last piece here is to take care of yourself. And what specifically that means is to add in things that nourish you and remove things that drain you. Because our energy works a little bit like a battery. And so it's important to remove some of those drainers, like, for example, step away from work if you need to, or set boundaries with people in your life. Those are crucial, but it's also important to add things in that truly nourish you and increase your energy or help sustain it. For me and for many people, that often looks like spending a little bit of time in nature, going for walks without a podcast or music in. Maybe it's reading, maybe it's just sitting on your couch journaling, or sometimes even vegging out to one of your favorite TV shows. And if you want help identifying what your nourishers and drainers are, I have a free guide that gets into that, and I'll link it below. Really, the most important thing to keep in mind here is to be kind to yourself. We live in a world that doesn't necessarily reward kindness and compassion, but the kinder you are to yourself, the more compassionate you are to yourself, the more it ripples outwards. And imagine a world where everybody is truly taking care of themselves, being kind to themselves. I think we'd have a world where people are kinder and more compassionate to other people as well. I hope you know that you are allowed to take care of yourself. You don't have to push through. I'm so glad to be back here. I missed you. Send me a message, comment, whatever it is. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you soon.